Good evening, everyone. Phil here, and welcome to the Daily Wrap for what was, Sunday. I'm losing track of the days. May 14th, 2023. Great streaming day, albeit a very warm one. We're having crazy heat waves right now here in Washington State. Unseasonably warm weather, which is probably why you just heard my air conditioner, turn on and off while I'm filming this Daily Wrap, when normally, I'd have everything off by now, but, it is what it is. I'm putting up with it, all right? So what went down today? Well, on today's Level 1 podcast, I once again gave my opinions on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom now that I have played another 2 hours and I started to have some apprehensions and or worries about the game as we go further into it. We had some great open discussion about various different topics. It was a good show in general. There was nothing crazy that we really discussed, like no gaming news or anything that stood out, but it was still a really solid podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed if you were there live, and if not, check it out on demand on the channel. The first gameplay stream of today, was the continuation of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And the good news here is, this was all new stuff. We left the starter planet of Kobo, and we actually first went to a planet named Jeddah, which actually is like a desert planet with a lot of platforming and puzzles and some enemies. We ended up running into some old friends. I kind of don't want to spoil what happened in the plot, but it was kind of neat. And then after doing that for about 90 minutes to 2 hours, we actually went to another planet, this one called the Shattered Moon, another totally different thing. This is all like a space station kind of a planet where you're just going around fighting enemies, trying to solve puzzles. It was good. Let me put it this way. Gameplay-wise, world design-wise, story-wise, everything was great. Oh yeah, and then the game also failed to perform well. In particular, first of all, we ran into a game-crippling bug, where after having done a large amount of cutscenes and development on Jeddah, the game decides I can't activate anything. I can't activate my holotable, I can't use a save point, and when I actually went to use a save point, meditation point, the whole game froze. So I had to reload and lost about 15-20 minutes of progress. Luckily, I was able to turbo through and skip all the cutscenes the second time, but again, the game screams lack of polish. Here we are, 2 weeks after it came out, and it's still this broken, and they haven't fixed it yet. Then we went to the Shattered Moon, and the Shattered Moon base, or whatever you could call it, had an insanely bad frame rate. Like, this game was struggling to maintain 30 frames. If that, it was frequently going below that, especially during big fights, and that's a problem. If I'm fighting a bunch of enemies, and I need to be able to counter or dodge or use an ability, and the frame rate is chugging along, and it just happened over and over. It's sad, because like I said, this game is not a bad game if you just don't look at the graphical performance and lack of polish with the bugs. But the game should have a good graphical performance and polish. It's supposed to be a AAA game that they charge $70 for, and it doesn't feel like it. And that's the sad part of it, is everything else is good. I mean, we even unlocked 2 new stances today, with the lightsaber that both look neat, and I'd like to try both of them in the long term and kind of alternate between all these stances in the playthrough. But man, it's frustrating that the game is this weak when it comes to its performance. But overall, it was a great stream. I did enjoy the game. I'm looking forward to more when we do get to it. The night stream tonight was Oblivion Shivering Isles DLC, and this was heading into the end game. Sorry to say, really, it didn't get better tonight. In fact, it got even worse because we had to do multiple dungeons where you were just grinding through against tons of enemies. There was no way to fight them all, because if you did, you're going to run out of resources. I tried to buy potions and resources, and they're not even available in the DLC, from what I can see. So, basically, I had to run through these dungeons, avoiding enemies, hitting buttons, rushing, healing constantly to get through them. I'm not kidding. There were 3 of them tonight. 3 dungeons back-to-back in the story that all were incredibly similar, boring grinds. We got to the very end. So basically, all that's left is the finale. And the finale, I think there's one more place you have to go, find a person, recharge a staff, and then I guess it's like the big story finale, however it's going to end in this DLC. So, we didn't finish it, but we got darn close. And I'm very happy that we got as far as we did. And it looks like we will wrap this up when we play it again this coming Tuesday night, and then we can head back into the main game and back to the main story and head into the end game of the story and hopefully beat that within another week or 2 so we can move on to other stuff. So, good stuff, good progress. Again, I want to say thank you guys. Pretty crazy, so listen to this. As I said last night, this week we have an unprecedented amount of support. We had 6 straight streams where we hit my support goals, if you can believe it. So this morning, I'm on the podcast, and some people are coming in and supporting, and it's not Jinx, who's the person who has come this week and basically done a ton of support, allowing us to hit the goals every stream. It's not them. It's other people. Before Jinx ever even showed up to my first stream today, we had already hit all the tips goals. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. There's a rallying for some reason. I don't know what happened. There's something in the water. There's something in the air. Rallying and support this week is outstanding. And we hit all the goals on the first stream. And then on the late stream, we had some support. It was a little on the slower side. And then Jinx came in and did a big tip. And then we hit those goals too. So it's pretty crazy, the level of support that I've gotten this week. Again, I don't know what is going on there. Of course, now what happens is you hear all these crazy theories. I had some crazy conspiracy theorist email me. Oh, don't you know that Jinx is a secret detractor who's teaming up with Secret Limited to try to ruin your channel and this and that? And it's like, then other people, oh, don't you know it's only iced coffee and he's just the same guy coming back from 4 years ago supporting you again? And it's, it's nuts. And the thing is, here's the thing. If you haven't noticed, I'm not using a vest counter, and I'm not going to. I'm not going to use a vest streak counter or anything. It's not like 3 years ago, all right? If we continue to get this level of support every stream, I'm ecstatic. It's amazing. It's helping right now. It really is. I'm grateful and appreciative that everyone is kind of coming out and supporting in all the various ways they are. If it ends tomorrow, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I don't want my streams to be focused only on this. I talked about this, this morning, how the vest streak 3 years ago kind of didn't work out because after a few months of it happening, people were all about that and trying to derail the content, and it was more about, gee, will he hit the vest streak tonight, rather than, gee, what's the game he's playing and is it any fun, or I don't want the streams to be about that. I feel like the quality of the content degrades when we just focus on that. So that's why I'm not going to be doing this counter or anything. But hey, if it continues, it does, and people are going to be talking about it because obviously it's happening. It's now 8 straight freaking streams where I've hit my support goals. That's insanely cool. So thank you to anyone who's been on those streams and supported, anyone who's done behind the scenes, because there's been some overnight tips and stuff. Yeah, if you tip overnight, I always count that tip towards the next stream the next day. So if you happen to be watching this and I want to support Phil's content, I'll send him an overnight tip. That will count for tomorrow's first stream, okay? So thank you anyone who supported. Really, I'm grateful. 2 more streaming days this week. Can we actually go get a whole week through? I doubt it, but let's see what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, what are we doing? Level 1 podcast in the morning. And then we're going to go back to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And the exciting things about this is that it's the first real time when we're going to hit the open world in Tears of the Kingdom and we don't have any more like tutorial to do. We can kind of go do whatever we want. And the game has opened up, lets you go any direction you want. We already kind of have a direction because we found one of the big towers that you climb, and then it unveils a big part of the map. So that's probably what we're doing next, and then go from there. I'm excited for that. It should be fun. Our first open world exploration where we'll be able to chill and interact while I play. So that's neat. Tomorrow's main stream. And tomorrow night, we go back to Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster, playthrough that I very much enjoyed. It is a retro throwback to the games of my youth in the 90s. And looking forward to 2 more hours of retro RPG fun with you on the late shift, okay? There will be a poll tomorrow morning for those who are interested. On DSPGaming during the podcast, I'm going to set up a community poll so people can vote on what game they want to see as the main stream on Tuesday. Here's 3 choices. More Jedi Survivor, more Zelda, or more Elden Ring. So depending on what you want, vote overnight. That poll will determine what game we're actually playing Tuesday morning. And Tuesday night will be more Oblivion and the conclusion of Shivering Isles. One final thing. I have already earlier today, right at the end of my first stream, posted up the threads over on the community tab of DSP Reacts, where you can nominate the videos you want to see on DSP versus the internet for Saturday coming up. And you might say, wait a minute, he did that already? Why did he do it so early? Well, someone proposed something interesting to me. They said, Phil, you realize you've been doing this every week, and you've been doing it right around the same time. And when you're doing it right around the same time, it's the same group of people who are always getting to nominate their videos. So because of that, what's happening is it's the same kind of videos every week. If you had it planned at a different time, like posted at a different time during the day, well, then people in Europe maybe would have a better chance, because the way I've been doing it is at the end of my second stream. Well, people in Europe are asleep. So I was like, you know what? That's fair enough. Let me try it. So today I did. I have posted up earlier. I have been approving. I'm actually going to check right now. I'm sure during tonight's late stream, a bunch more people posted up. And we're going to see if different people actually got to nominate the videos than normal. And they'll, people who've been trying to get their videos nominated and they never get watched, maybe they'll finally get them watched this time. And maybe what I should do is every week kind of alternate. So you have 2 different groups that are nominating at different times, and sometimes one group will get priority, sometimes the other will. We'll see, okay? But anyway, so far, I hope it works, and please nominate if you haven't. got to nominate overnight. If you're hoping to get that video watched on Saturday, you got to do it as soon as possible. All right? Guys, thank you so very much. Please have a good evening. Hope to see you all in the morning for some fun. All right, everyone? Peace out. Have a good night. And I'll see you in the AM. Later.